I got the real list, y'all. We got the real list over here on Keep the Vision. The top 10 WNBA players are here. I got a few honorable mentions. I got a few, not too many, because I'm not, look, this is a prestigious list. When you make the KTV top 10, you got to be like that. You got to be built like that. You got to be built like that. Let's not waste no time. Let's not play no games. These are the top 10 WNBA players in order. We're going from 10 to 1. Let's get right into it. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell.
Okay, so Caitlin Clark, right? The supposed face of the league, she didn't even make it into the top 2 on the KTV Real WNBA top 10 list. She ended up at number 3, which is kind of wild. This isn't just a small thing either. It really shows that even with all the hype and record viewership, those established power players are still at the top. The host, who's known for those super bold takes, didn't hold back. They said Clark's limited game time totally proved her talent, but it wasn't enough to push out the legends. Naturally, this ranking got everyone talking. Fans and analysts were all trying to figure out how to even justify such a controversial spot.
You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, in case you did not know this, media availability is part of WNBA contracts. All right, these athletes have an obligation, and look, this is the case in most sports as well. With player contracts, you're supposed to be available to talk to the media. Remember Marshawn Lynch?
The KTV list, they're calling it the definitive ranking, and right from the jump, they made it clear. Only the absolute elite were going to be on it. They did give out some generous, honorable mentions though, like Paige Bueckers had a heck of a rookie season, but she just got edged out because of her team's overall performance, and get this. Jonquel Jones, the 2024 Finals MVP, actually found herself on the outside looking in. She was criticized for a season they called hot garbage and a pretty dismal playoff showing. Even perennial favorites like Kelsey Plum, who the host called their second favorite player to watch, just barely missed the cut. It just goes to show how incredibly high the bar was for this top 10 list, and these early exclusions really set the tone for how much scrutiny every single player chosen was going to get.
Let's go at it. Let's go at it. I want to know who's in your top 10, because I know your top 10 is not better than the KTV top 10. I know that right now. Honorable mention. Honorable mention. I am going to go with Paige Bueckers. You made my honorable mention list. Hell of a rookie season, but your team won like 5-6 games. I'm sorry. Paige Bueckers on the outside looking in on my top 10. Sorry, Paige, but I believe after next season, you will probably crack my top 10. Another one on the outside looking in on my top 10, Jonquel Jones.
So, kicking off the actual top 10 at number 10, we've got Sabrina Ionescu. This was kind of a contentious pick, honestly, because she's had some real ups and downs this season. But even with what they called a down year, Ionescu still put up seriously impressive numbers. We're talking 18.5 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds on average. Plus, she actually led her team to a title. The host did acknowledge her struggles in the playoffs for sure, but they also pointed out how strong she was in those critical moments, often being one of just 2 players who truly stepped up for the Liberty. This really shows that the KTV list looks at both the individual stats and that championship impact, even if a player is battling through some personal challenges during the season.
It's just basketball. And if you're going to run your mouth, and let's be real, Angel Reese runs her mouth a lot about a lot of different things. Well, the media has twisted it. You've done a very, very fine job of saying some very unprofessional things. Nobody's had to twist your words. Let's not get confused. Take responsibility. You know? Let's just, my God. Take responsibility for the things that you say and your actions.
All right, it is what it is. Coming in at number 9 was Satou Sabally. People call her the unicorn, right? But also, apparently the number 1 complainer in the WNBA. Her spot was locked in because of her absolutely exceptional offensive game. She can score from literally anywhere on the court. Threes, mid-range jumpers, post-ups, drives to the basket, everything. Now her defense, yeah, they acknowledge she has some weaknesses there. But honestly, the sheer volume and the skill of her offense just made her undeniable. This pick really showed that the list is all about that undeniable individual talent, even if there are a few caveats. It proves that sometimes dominant scoring can totally outweigh defensive effort when they're looking at overall impact.
I'm gonna go with Paige Beckers. You made my honorable mention list. Hell of a rookie season, but your team won like 5-6 games. I'm sorry. Paige Beckers on the outside looking in on my top 10. Sorry, Paige, but I believe after next season, you will probably crack my top 10. Another one on the outside looking in on my top 10, Jonquel Jones. You was the 2024 Finals MVP. We know you can do it all at the center spot. You were labeled as the best center in the league, and girl, you look like hot garbage this season. I gotta be honest, you battled injuries, all types of stuff. The way you looked in the playoffs, I can't.
Okay, number 8 on the list went to Aaliyah Boston, the Indiana Fever's rising star. The host actually believes she's set to become the best center in the league, even surpassing Jonquel Jones. Boston got all this high praise because she just dominates in the paint and is consistently in beast mode out there. This ranking really suggests a forward-looking perspective, you know? It's acknowledging what she's doing right now, but also totally projecting her future dominance. The host's conviction about Boston's path, saying she's already better than Bri Jones and will totally take over, speaks volumes about this young player's undeniable talent and her potential to totally reshape the center position in the league.
Angel Reese doesn't hold back on really scary relationship with media. I mean, Lord knows, I don't like the media at all. One of the reasons black and white sports exist is because the media will lie. But I can't remember a controversial thing that has ever come out about Angel Reese that turned out to be a lie that I can think of. It's hilarious. And on top of it, you've got a league that greatly still needs to grow.
Next up, at the 7th spot, was Jackie Young, a two-way guard and WNBA champion from Sin City. What really set her apart was her ability to just deliver in those huge games. She had multiple 30-point performances in the finals, which is insane. The host really made a point of saying that Young wasn't just, riding on Aja Wilson's coattails. She showed up and showed out, earning that championship through her own hard work and clutch plays. This distinction really highlights how important individual impact is, even when you're on a championship-winning team. It makes sure that true contributors get recognized, totally separate from their star teammates' overwhelming success.
Spot, you were labeled as the best center in the league, and girl, you look like hot garbage this season. I gotta be honest, you battled injuries, all types of stuff. The way you looked in the playoffs, I cannot put you in my top 10 with the way you look. You had 5 points. You was terrible. Yo, you was terrible in that series versus Phoenix Mercury. Jonquel Jones, honorable mention. Alicia Gray, honorable mention. Kayla McBride, honorable mention. Those are some of the people on my honorable mention list. Kalia Copper, honorable mention. Nneka Ogwumike, honorable mention.
Man, the 6th spot, that was fiercely debated, but it ultimately went to Kelsey Pistol Mitchell. Her offensive year was just awesome. She basically carried the Indiana Fever through a season that was absolutely plagued by injuries to key players, like Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and others. That was a huge factor. Mitchell almost single-handedly willed her team to the WNBA Finals, showing off incredible resilience and her scoring prowess under just immense pressure. Her ability to literally put the team on her back and perform at an elite level, even with all that adversity, totally solidified her placement. It just proves that clutch performance and challenging circumstances really hold significant weight in these rankings.
About her contentious relationship with the media during an episode of her Unapologetically Angel podcast, saying she'd rather get fined then talk with reporters because answers end up getting twisted. No, slow down and think about what you're saying before it regurgitates out of your mouth. Here we go.
Even before the game, like, I'm terrified of what the media is about to ask. Like, it could be the nicest question, but it's going to get flipped or put into a different light or a different perspective. And it's like, are you here intentionally to start?
At number 5, Alyssa Thomas, the triple-double machine, made a pretty controversial entry onto the list. The host totally acknowledged her prowess as a bully on the court, just excelling in defense, rebounding, and facilitation. But here's the thing. Her limited offensive scoring, especially her struggle to consistently make shots because of those shoulder issues, was really highlighted as a significant ceiling for her. This honest assessment suggests that even though her all-around game is elite, a true top 4 player has got to have a consistent scoring threat too. This raw evaluation just reflects that tough balance they're looking at between exceptional defensive contributions and the undeniable need for offensive firepower.
Nneka Ogwumike, honorable mention. Those are some of my honorable mentions, y'all. Let's get into this top 10, the real top 10. If it ain't on KTV, the top 10 don't count. Let's go. Coming in at number 10. This was tough. Oh, sorry, Kelsey Plum. You were my honorable mention. I was debating you for this 10 spot. I'm not gonna lie. It was between this person, Alicia Gray, and Kelsey Plum for the number 10 spot. Kelsey Plum, love you to death. You're my second favorite player to watch. You were just outside of my top 10. Coming in.
Breanna Stewart landed at number 4, and her performance in a losing effort against the Phoenix Mercury actually cemented her spot. Even though her team got knocked out in the first round, Stewart almost literally carried the Liberty on her back, on one leg even. She scored 17 straight points in the fourth quarter when all the other stars just kinda faltered. This really showcases that individual brilliance, even in defeat, can totally elevate a player to elite status. The host praised her as still being part of the cream of the crop, recognizing her monumental effort when her teammates did nothing. It just proves her enduring impact, no matter the team's outcome.
Rather than talking to the media, because it always gets flipped. And I think that's where media has gotten these days. Like, you could literally post the sky was blue and Angel said that is too dark. That's like stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it just, for me, like, the media is like really scary. Like, that's why I've never been on anybody else's podcast. I'm scared to do stuff like that because I know how things could get flipped.
That's crappy too. You got a podcast, you want guests, but you won't return the favor? I don't love that either, to be honest.
Okay, nothing's getting flipped here. Then came the real bombshell. Caitlin Clark at number 3. I mean, she'd only played 13 games, but her impact was just undeniable. The host absolutely abluates her unique ability to drop 25 to 30 points and dish out 13 to 15 assists almost every single night. That's a combination unmatched in the league, period. They called her the GOAT, the Needle, and the Reason. Clark was credited with single-handedly boosting WNBA ratings and all that network attention, plus her 5-level scoring ability from half-court to the basket, along with her being the best point guard rebounder, that totally solidified her as the league's undeniable best guard.
Boston, when AB show up and decide she's going to be in beast mode and actually post up, she's 100% a top 10 player. I believe that Jonquel Jones coming into the season was the best center. I believe that Aaliyah Boston might take the reins on that. I think Aaliyah Boston is better than Bree Jones. She showed that. And we just didn't get enough out of Jonquel Jones. So I think as of right now, Aaliyah Boston should be going into next season as the best center in the W. That's right. Atlanta Smith is nice, but she's not Aaliyah Boston at all. Aaliyah Boston coming in at number 8. At number 7, we're going to Sin City.
The second spot on the list was awarded.
Number 2 was awarded to Napheesa Collier of the Minnesota Lynx. The hosts are super confident that if it wasn't for her injury-induced absence, Collier would have actually won MVP. She looked like the best player in the entire world for a significant chunk of the season. Her consistent dominance before she got sidelined just highlights the devastating impact that injuries can have on individual accolades, even when a player's talent and performance are undeniably elite. This recognition really speaks volumes about Collier's immense talent and impact, suggesting that a healthy season from her could have totally reshaped the MVP conversation.
What it is. And I'm sure part of this goes back to all the drama with the Indiana Fever last year, where the league ended up having to do an investigation because supposedly the fan base was racist. All she had to do was call a mini press conference with 4 or 5 media members and say, I did not hear anything racist come out from the Indiana Fever fan base. She did not do it. She did not do it. Crazy.
Finally, the #1 player was revealed, and it's Aja Wilson. She's the world champ, MVP, finals MVP, just everything. Her dominant performances are absolutely undeniable. The host even humorously pointed out her special whistle, leading to a ton of free throws, including 19 in that final game. But look, that little jab at the officiating didn't diminish her greatness at all. Wilson's sheer force and her impact on the court were totally celebrated, cementing her status as the best player in the WNBA right now. Honestly, it's a conclusion that very few people could realistically dispute, given her unparalleled success and consistent dominance.
Coming in at number 6. Coming in at number 5. Some people are not going to like this. I don't give a you-know-what. I got Alyssa Thomas coming in at number 5. Triple-double machine. Triple-double machine. Alyssa Thomas is a beast. She's a bully out there. She's a bully out there. But the fact of the matter is, Alyssa Thomas is not good enough offensively, scoring-wise, to be the best player on your team. She cannot be, she just doesn't, because of the shoulders, she can't shoot, and it shows up in big-time matchups with an Nafisa.
Now, with this real top 10 list all set, and Caitlin Clark sitting at number 3, the glaring omission of Angel Reese becomes super apparent. You know, while the list definitely focuses on what happens on the court, Reese's off-court actions and her contentious relationship with the media could totally explain why she's missing from such a prestigious ranking. Her public statements, which are often seen as unprofessional, paint a picture of a player whose whole narrative is just complicated by some self-inflicted drama. This perception, whether it's fair or not, undoubtedly impacts how she's viewed by a lot of people who put together these definitive lists.
Easy. That's not a basketball question. Next question. And calmly continue until you get a basketball-related question. Bravo. Bravo. I mean, then don't say something stupid, dummy, like shitting on your whole team like you aren't part of the problem. I mean, I don't know if she's going to be back on this team or not.
Angel Reese has actually said pretty openly that she dreads media interviews. She even said she'd rather get fined than talk to reporters. She genuinely believes her answers always get flipped or put into a different light, which she says creates this scary relationship with the press. However, this sentiment gets met with a lot of skepticism from commentators. They argue that Reese often says unprofessional things without anyone even needing to twist her words. Her accusations of media manipulation seem to ignore the undeniable truth that, a lot of times, her own words have actually been the source of her biggest controversies.
Then the baby GOAT, Caitlin Clark, coming in at number 3. Yeah, she only played, 13 games? That's all we needed. Did you see the show she put on versus the New York Liberty? Y'all already know what time it is. Bonehead Stephanie White was in the way. Next seat, bruh, y'all know what Caitlin Clark gonna do. Nobody else in the league can score and facilitate to the level that Caitlin Clark can. She can go get you 25, 30 a night and go get you 13, 14, 15 assists. Nobody else in the league can do that. And she's the best point guard rebounder in the league. In the league. What are we talking about here? Caitlin Clark,
And here's one super egregious example that's been brought up. Reese actually publicly slammed her own teammates in a media interview and then tried to blame the media for all the fallout. This refusal to take responsibility for her own statements has really been a recurring theme, and it just fuels this perception of immaturity. The host points out that yeah, the media can sometimes exaggerate things, but Reese's controversial statements about teammates or other players, they haven't been fabricated. Reporters are simply reporting what she herself has said, which just exposes this pattern of blaming other people for consequences that actually come directly from her own actions.
First squad that can teach her how to deal with the media and what to do and what not to do. Oh, I'm gonna go out there 3/4 naked, but don't want nobody actually to talk about it. I want all these places to cover it. Me walking down, all this stuff. I once played the victim, and then I went out on Victor. But I guarantee you ask her, nobody should be talking about that. Really? You got to be joking, right? You got to be joking.
Her contentious relationship with the media actually goes way beyond just personal interviews. Critics point to past controversies, like when the league was investigating fan racism against the Indiana Fever. Reese could have totally diffused that situation with just a simple statement, but she chose not to. This unwillingness to engage constructively, even to protect fans or clarify things, just keeps damaging her public image. These kinds of actions create a negative narrative, and it makes it harder for her on-court accomplishments to get recognized without that constant shadow of drama. Look, there's an expectation for professional athletes, especially rising superstars, to engage with the media. It's part of their contract, and it helps grow the game. But Reese's stance, which she's articulated on her own podcast, totally contradicts that obligation. It really suggests she fundamentally misunderstands her role beyond just the court. Her desire to avoid interviews and just take the fine instead of facing scrutiny, especially when she has her own podcast, creates this pretty hypocritical stance. It undermines her credibility and her public standing, and yeah, it definitely influences why she's left out of these top player conversations. The KTV Top 10 list is brutal in its honesty, so Angel Reese's furious reaction to Caitlin Clark's high ranking, while she's absent, really isn't surprising. Her consistent media drama, her refusal to take accountability, and that perception of always being misunderstood creates such a stark contrast to players who are celebrated for their consistent on-court excellence and professional conduct. Until Reese can actually manage her narrative and embrace her responsibilities off the court, she's going to keep finding herself watching from the outside, while others cement their legacy in these real WNBA rankings.